Hall of Famer Bobby Allen is back on the World of Outlaws tour, but not as a driver. He's taking his grandson, Logan Schuchart, and his son, Jacob Allen, on the tour this year, instead of having them run for points at their local track, Lincoln Speedway.
We do get some help from some sponsors, but basically it's really not enough to cover our racing. And you can put it down on paper and figure it out that to go on the road, it's actually, you can take in more money and keep the cars going. So, and plus I wanted them to learn, plus then also maybe they can pick up a ride, because the older guys are going to start going to the side and they'll be the next guys in line because they're familiar with the racetracks. So money-wise, it said it was a way to do it, and to run here, it's a lot harder to make ends meet. We build our own chassis here. I've always done it. We do have one new motor. We're working on another one right now. I have to pace my motors. We have to run them 20 races when the other guys got to run them 8 to 12 races.
It's a lot different because usually you got a driver, a crew chief, a car guy, and a tire guy. Well, we're like crew chief Bobby, and then we do we do a lot of things that they have 3 guys on one car, and we got one or maybe one other guy on a car.
The way we run our cars is off our money won, and it takes, we can't buy our stuff during the winter to get prepared for the beginning of this year. So we kind of just have to win our money throughout the year and start, progressively building on to what we already have, and then, start for next year.
Now, Jacob just started driving a 410 last season, and he's still in the learning process. Is it crazy for him to be competing in the World of Outlaws?
A lot of people are on me about that because they said he should have had more experience going on the road. But I always believe you go play with the best and you'll learn the best faster.
Well, at first it's a little, I guess you'd say, intimidating, because I haven't had a whole lot of experience in a 410. I've done a lot of racing out on the road, so when you go to a new track and that kind of thing, it's a lot tougher. But now it's starting to get to a point where I'm starting to be more confident with who I'm racing against and myself.
I think when he first started, I tried to help him out if he had any questions, or help him out as much as I could. My grandpa's, who we both go up and ask questions to when we need help, but my grandpa hasn't raced in 15, 20 years, so I got to race a little bit sooner than Jacob, and when he had a couple questions about what's going on now, I think he was able to ask me and I could help him out a little bit. But he's been doing really good lately, and he's got a pretty good idea of what's going on, and I think he's got it on his own right now.
Bobby Allen is one of the original Outlaws, so he must bring a wealth of experience and wisdom to these young guns.
It's been 20 years since I ran with the Outlaws, so now it's all tracks that they've redone and updated and made a lot of nicer. So it's and also the suspension to the cars and the shocks and different things and motors. So I'm learning with them along there, but I've always had a good insight on racing and been able to figure it out pretty quick.
We have a lot of knowledge, and I think we have, my grandpa's raced his whole life, so he's a very smart guy with sprint car racing. He's known for that. He's a legend in this sport, and I have him to look up to, him to ask questions, and he's our mentor.
Me and Logan and my dad, we talk a lot. I mean, I think this deal, when it's less people around and that kind of thing, we get to talk more often, and we get to feedback on each other a lot, because it's usually just us guys and our help, but we got me, Logan, and my dad, so when we're looking at a track we both don't know and that kind of thing, he comes back and tells me how he feels, and I come back and tell him how I feel, and me and Logan bounce a lot of things off of each other. It is a pretty cool deal. Plus my dad, there to give us his input on what we say, so then it really plays out pretty good.
The World of Outlaws travels all over the country. How do Logan and Jacob feel about racing at unfamiliar tracks against the best of the best?
It's cool because you get to learn new tracks and you become a better driver for sure, and the way you look at the tracks that you go to and the way you race just changes a whole bunch once you start going to tracks that you've never been to consistently all the time. You usually got the local guys at the track, I mean, they're not Pennsylvania posse, but if you go to somewhere in Wisconsin, Indiana, wherever it is, they got 5 to 8 to 10 local guys that are, they know their way around. So you got those guys that already know the track, and then you got your 13 other outlaw drivers that definitely know what they're doing. So it's you always got to have your A game. There's no laziness or, you don't slack off really. You always got to be sharp and think ahead and try to make the best decisions you can so you're there to contend at the end of the night.
It's definitely a lot more difficult. You know, we just try and compare it to tracks that we have been on and we've ran good on, and go from there. And it's the only thing you can kind of really can do, and just make notes and try again the next night. Usually, when it is a 2-day show, it seems like the first night, if we're not very good, we're always better the second night. So we're learning, we're getting better, and we're writing notes down for next year.
So how do they feel about doing this tour and being away from home for so long?
I was all for it. You know, it's been my dream since I was a little kid to go on the road and race with the World of Outlaws, and I watched them, you know, since I was a little kid, and that's all I ever wanted to do.
It don't bother me. I mean, if I was home, I'd be racing, and that's about it. I mean, I'd be racing no matter what. So if I'm at home, I'd be traveling, racing. So I'd rather be on a series and know where I'm going, that kind of thing. Because the guys that are out on the road with you, they live out on the road too. So those guys, it's been great meeting all those guys and becoming great friends with them. And, you know, they're making me better and Logan better and everything. So I don't really miss it. This is an experience I don't really wish I could be at home when I'm living this, you know. That's like, it's awesome doing it with my dad.
Well, so far, Jacob has 1 top 10 and Logan has 2 top 5s, which includes a 3rd place finish in the A-Main at Charlotte a little over a week ago. Now, coming up next, we go to Big Diamond Speedway for some highlights from Friday night. Keep it here.
When a catastrophic injury or illness impacts your life, we're here to help you get it back. With our personalized treatment plans, dedicated team of specialists, the most inventive technologies, and a coordinated approach to recovery. This is more than just rehabilitation. This is a higher level of care.
Seagram's Escapes. Keep it colorful.